Hi friends, today I'll continue my bridge series by creating bridge components and setting them together at the end. I'll be using the box girder cross section I created in my last video. I'll be creating two different bridge components, one straight with a fixed height throughout the length and one straight with a varying height, starting with the last one. I will be utilizing Dynamo to create two splines that will be needed for the box girder cross section containing the two adaptive points. I could of course create these two splines in the adaptive family environment, but let me show how it can be done with Dynamo. The principles are much the same. We add points to the model, but this time in Dynamo starting with the node point by coordinates node. I will have a total of 5 points that I will later import to Revit and making them reference points. Let's get back to our example, shall we? So I have now added 2 points and decided their placement with values in the number node. Next, I will use the geometry translate node. This node will first copy and then move the copied geometry. In our case, that is just a point. And I can decide the distance in a selected directions, X, Y, or Z. So I'm fast forwarding a bit since it's a bit repetitive, just adding points. So the possibilities here are endless. We can add as many points as we want, and often we import points from Excel or AutoCAD that will form the spline or the curve for our road that the bridge will be forming after. My 5 points have been created. I will gather all the points in a list with the node list create. At the moment, these points only exist inside Dynamo, or you can see them in Revit, but these blue points are kinda useless, no snapping opportunity. But I do want them to be useful in my adaptive family. So I will add the node reference point by point, and this will do the job. This node will create reference points from the points I created in Dynamo and import them into my Revit adaptive family. So as you can see, there are blue points now, but then I hit run and voila, reference points are created. Back in my 3D view, I proceed by selecting the two top points and form a spline, and select the bottom 3 points and do the same. I now have two splines where I will attach the cross section. To attach the cross section, I will create nodes by selecting the spline and hitting the divide path tool. Nodes are applied to denote the position of the points of placement for components, and then attach our nested void family to one node at the top and one node at the bottom and hit the repeat tool. It will instantly repeat on every node. So next up is adding parameters that the user will be able to change. I will have A and T and yeah, of course, the material parameters. These parameters will be connected to the nested parameters, making our bridge parametric. So all done. Now I need to associate them or connect them. I select every void cross-section, go to the properties menu and find the instance parameters that are created in the void family and connect them to the newly created parameters. Select all our void cross-section and hit create form. The form created is now a solid void with varying height. I will use the form to cut out the hollow section in my box girder. We do the same for the box girder cross-section. We connect the parameters to the nested family and then we hit the create form. We use the cut tool to cut out the void in the cross section. I have now created a part with varying height, but with a fixed length. If I want to change the length, I will have to change it in Dynamo. I will, yeah, it looks pretty solid. I will create one more part, which will have a fixed but user-defined height throughout the length of the superstructure. This part could also be a curved superstructure part, like the one I've created in my earlier videos. But for now, this will just be a straight part. Our two bridge superstructures parts are all finished up, so let's put it all together. We load them into the main Revit project, where I have already set up a couple of grid lines that I will use to place out the components. Let's first place out the varying height component. We rotate it and align it with the grid lines. We then add a couple of the bridge components with fixed height or thickness. The length is user defined in this component. You just stretch it out and place it out. Okay. Lastly, we change the parameters so all the components will match in thickness and height. And that concludes this tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe for more extremely fun videos. See you later.